never said I'm gonna use that.
How you doing, Miss Dr. Khalil Muhammad? I mean Ali. How you doing? How you doing?
I'm doing fine, Fred. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I appreciate you coming in doing this interview, man. So I'm like this quasi historian, right? I was a history major in college, and I was born in Harlem, so I'm always fascinated with like
Harlem.
Harlem.
That is the most biggest Renaissance area in the world.
Right.
Oh, yes.
And I've been fascinated with like Malcolm X and the Nation of Islam, and I mean since I came out the womb, because every street that I walk, because I grew up in Esplanade Gardens, 47th and Lenox.
Yes.
Yeah, right by the bus depot. So I've always been fascinated with it, and now I'm like this truth seeker. You know what I mean? Like I just want to know the story. And when I met you in Van, I'm like, oh my heavens. Oh, yes. Now I can potentially get first person accounts, you know?
Can you imagine how I feel?
Right.
I'm looking at Judas and the Messiah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Fred Hampton, I knew this guy personally. I mean, me and Ali used to talk to this guy for hours. And then you got and then his son, I saw his son when he was a baby. So it was just amazing. I would like to hook up with him afterwards. I love that.
Mm-hmm. The host DB's here. DB, Dr. Ali, DB.
Okay. What's up? Where DB at?
Assalamu alaikum, sister. Assalamu alaikum.
Well, alaikum assalam, my dear brother. Where's your face at? I want to see your face. Where is
it? I'm here in spirit.
Okay, bro. I can handle that. What happened? What happened to my thing? Wait a minute. Woo. What happened? Zoom did something.
We see you though. I see you.
I hit a button and somebody don't see you. This is not cool. Okay, let's go back. I don't see you. Where's my Zoom thing? Contact us. I don't want to contact you guys.
Okay, no, you're live right now. I see you perfectly, and we're recording.
I can't see you, and I don't like that.
Probably got to push the Zoom tab at the bottom of your.
Let me. It says something about contact. Oh, there it is.
Are you back?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay.
I forgot my screen. You touch it, it does stuff. I can't touch the screen. That's all.
All right, let's go all the way back to the beginning.
Okay.
You were born and raised in Chicago?
Cook County. Yes, sir.
Cook County.
Born and raised. Mm-hmm. Headquarters of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's empire.
Right. And prior to meeting Elijah Muhammad, what was life like?
Well, see, as a child, my mother and father came into the nation back in late 40s. And when I was born, my father already was a first lieutenant. And when my mother and father would go to work, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, let me keep your daughter because I'm going to put her in our school. I'm not going to let her go to a public school. He said, can I do that? And my father and mother said, sure.
How old were you?
I think I was like 3 or 4. And when they went to work, I stayed at his house with the grandchildren and played with them. And then they came up with the school, and so we all went to school together. He was like a grandfather to me, really, because I say grandfather to him just like all the other children. And it was when I got to some age and I found out who he was, it was like the leader, and it was always that kind of respect being around him and all in this big, beautiful mansion. And I just knew he was somebody. And then we see him speak all the time. It was like, wow, that's remarkable that I live and be in the house. I'm closer to him than the other members. So I was like, I was really honored to be there. My mother used to run a lot of his businesses, and when she left the Caucasian business, because she used to run a clothing store at Album's Apparel downtown Chicago, and she's do accounting. She was a brain. She just knew everything. She was like a mathematical brain. And my father worked at an American can company. And the Elijah Muhammad said, you don't need to lose your job. When you're not working, then you can work with me. And it was a real honor. It was a real honor to sit there and be into the school, and they're teaching Islam in the school and the rest of the 3 R's, reading, writing, and arithmetic. But the only thing about it is we had Islam in the beginning and we have Black history in the middle. And all the books on the Black history was written by Langston Hughes. And I was only a little girl. Langston Hughes was probably the biggest writer that I've ever really respected and knew of at that age, because he wrote all these books on the Black history of the slaves and the shipments and, you know, the 100 amazing facts of the Negro. I mean, there was just so many books on the history of the Black people. Or the original, we call the original Asiatic people. We would never call ourselves Black, but at that moment. So the Elijah Muhammad told us how he came into being with the Moors, with the Moorish temple. He even had the red Moorish temple fez. And he told us all about Marcus Garvey, his regime. He even had a saying of Marcus Garvey in the auditorium called, "Up, you mighty nation, you can accomplish what you will." And Marcus Garvey did a lot of potential historic revolution movements in his period in time. During the time I was in the school, we had different foreign teachers from Africa, from Ghana, from Sierra Leone, from Ecuador. We had different teachers from different countries. And that was the most amazing part. We had some American educators, Sister Duro. She taught penmanship and manuscript. She was a real upright, upstanding woman. And it was just amazing to be around all that education, all that history. Now that fascinated me. It was awesome.
Now, did he tell you how he was introduced to the Nation of Islam and Farad Muhammad?
Not really. He never really specified on that, but he did say that he gave him a lot of tips on Islam. Give me cricket on Islam, and they gave us a lot of things that he talked with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and he discussed the fact that our people was not ready for all the Islamic thing because they had to program and erase the mentality, the slave master mentality. So his philosophy is to clean us up, let us stand up on 2 feet, hold their head upright because of the destruction, the damage that the slave masters had infiltrated on them, making them feel unworthy, making them feel shame of themselves, didn't give them any kind of, that slavery mentality was really bad, because here's a people that's standing over people, making them work like slaves without pay or anything. It's like, you know, they had no self-esteem. They had very low self-esteem because of it. And they still do today. So discussing Islam, we learned about the caliphs and the prophets. We learned about the Jesus venture. We learned about the Jesus that they created for Black people to love and treat as a God. So they could take everything else in the middle. They put the pie in the sky after you die, but they're going to stick around and get everything on the ground while you're still around. See, that's one of those things that we try to get out of our heads, but and think about what's important. Our diet, the way we eat, the way we dress, the way we talk to each other, the way we program to do everything the slave master wants you to do. The eating habits was unhealthy. That's why he came out with the book, How to Eat to Live. Mr. Furman ain't the one, only one did that. You know what I'm saying? So to be around great men like this, and then he would have certain leaders visiting the school when they're in the United States, like different historians, different history makers, you know what I mean? So we had that, and that was a beautiful thing. When we had our restaurant, he would have great people like Hugh Masekela and what's her name? Marion McKeeba. We was always educated on history, always. And to know that you couldn't put Black history in any of the schools. They didn't have it in the public schools. I said, they don't want to teach the Black people the history? You know what I mean? So, and we were the first ones with Black history in our schools. We knew who Langston Hughes was. Everybody in the Muslim school knew who these great men were. Haile Selassie, President Nasser and Nkrumah. I mean, we always are educated with the Black heroes of today that are ruling countries, but yet they keep our African American brothers, as they want to call them now. They've called them everything. They've called them colored people, Negroes, Black folks, Afro-American, and they're not either one of them. They don't fit any of that. You got the white Anglo-Saxon, that's it. White man, that's it. They don't have a whole lot of names for one person because they're trying to figure out what should we call these people. And the Elijah Muhammad taught us that they are the Asiatic, the original Black man, the original Asiatic people that lives here in America. There you go. We were taught that. So to be in that school was the best school I could ever go to. That's why they called it University of Islam, because they teach of people from the whole universe, the whole globe. So once you get out of that school, you're going to be the smartest person ever. And usually the Muslim students out that comes from or are going to the Muhammad University of Islam, they're like 20 times more advanced than a public school pupil. They're much more advanced because they teach us more than just that. Being a Muslim, they had a school for the sisters, a school for the men. The sisters have the MGT and GCC classes, which mean Muslim Girls Training and General Civilization class. Then you have the FOI, the Fruit of Islam, the brothers who are trained to provide, protect, and lead our families. That's what we're made for. So to say that is to say this. I am thankful that everything that I have learned underneath the umbrella of the Elijah Muhammad, I must say, I still have it with me within my knowledge, within the wisdom that I have used and still use it today. But it's more like now that I have that in place, now we can upgrade and have the true Islam to flourish. Because once you have the true Islam, you don't have to worry about racism and all that. You don't have to worry about that. Because it's not a part of our lives. We have to understand that the white man, the Chinese man, and all other different men, they're all created by Allah. He is the creator of them all. And we must learn to respect one another and take out the racism part and put in what we all need to learn. That means Caucasians, Chinese, Japanese. This religion is for everybody. So I was glad to get the upgrade, though. That was deep. I like the upgrade. the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's son, Muhammad, upgraded Islam and made it al-Islam, which is the proper channels for Muslims to follow. The proper guide, your proper leader is your Holy Quran. There you go.
DB,
and thankful to him, we have our Black brothers right here in America and could speak the language just like the foreigners, the Islamic countries, the Arab countries. They can understand it. And by him teaching us and giving them the proper tools to learn the language of Islam, to learn the language of our Creator that he created us to pray to and everything, we are grateful to that. And you have to live by it. You just can't make yourself an imam. The whole community has to vote you in to be a teacher of the Islamic religion, because you have to be a person who practices it. And you have to be independent of the masjids. The masjids are supposed to be supported by us. Our masjids don't support the imams. The imams, they have their own business to survive. And we are supposed to support the masjids. And I think a lot of people didn't want to do that. They want to live off of the mosque or the temple for their own private sources. That's not the way we roll. We don't roll that way anymore. And that's a good thing.
If growing up in an Islamic household with a respected father in the Islam community, what did the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teach you that your father didn't?
Well, you told me a lot. He taught me the religious part and why we should be respectful. Why we should be clean. But my father, he gave me what I needed it. What a father does, well, he makes sure that our house is clean. My father, he before he became Muslim, he went to the American War. He was in the Army, and I was the Army brat. And cleanliness was something that he instilled in me and my family. Not me being the oldest, he instilled it in me first. And keeping the house clean was just something he did. I mean, my bedroom was a barracks, and if I didn't have my bed and my blanket and my sheets and the quarter didn't pop off the sheets, I was back in there trying to redo it again. So my father was a very strict man with restrictions on looking at television, everything. My father did a lot that Elijah Muhammad didn't teach me. So it's about cleaning up and being respectful, and that all coincides with the teaching. So my father's family, who was Christian, they have a very high caliber when it comes to keeping things clean and being on time, being respectful. You got certain Christians that have this thing for respect and cleanliness. You have some Christians that's more, they enforce that in their families. Some Christians don't. So, but my father's family, who were Christian, they were very, very strict on discipline and working hard for your money and doing the right thing by people. And they had the same Christian qualities. You know what I mean? So the Bible was very inspirational from the Christian side of my family. And the Quran was a good book too. Like every Muslim was supposed to have a Bible in his home right next to the Quran. So we'll know both sides, both ethics, both stories. And they're all the same story, you know, by Mary and Jesus and Joseph. It's the same story. We respect the same story. We believe in the same thing when it comes to that. It's how we believe in Jesus as Christ Jesus was the prophet of God, and he spoke and showed the right way. You know, he wasn't a Christian though. Jesus wasn't a Christian because Christianity didn't even evolve until after his death. So he wasn't a Christian. Jesus wasn't. But we learned all these little things as we were coming up, how to eat. I mean, we had to do everything that was opposite of what a regular Christian family home that still goes by the dietary laws of eating. Like they would have greens and they would put ham hocks in their greens. We would keep ourselves greens. We didn't put any meat in our greens. Later on, we started putting turkey, smoked turkey. But we was trying to get away from that slave food, you know, that slave food, you know, hog and all that, you know. And it's restricted even to eat hog in the Bible. The Christians are not supposed to eat hog either. They're supposed to be exempt from their dietary laws. It's the slave masters that put the pork in the plate of the slaves. Yeah.
Where did that what do you think the divergence and the variance between like Black Christians and Black Muslims come from?
Well, Black Muslims was created by the journalists of the newspapers. They would call us Black Muslims. We didn't call ourselves Black Muslims. We just call ourselves Muslims. But the journalists started with the Black Muslim thing. You know how Superman came out when he told him, he said, I'm a friend. His name was Kal-El, but they called him Superman. So, you know, it's just like somebody giving you a name for what they're accustomed to instead of using your real name. She said, you're a Superman. He said, no, my name, I'm a friend. His name is Kal-El. But she called him Superman because that's what she put in the paper. And that's what people did, was put a label on us as being, instead of saying Muslim, just Muslim, they called us Black Muslims because we were considered the Black people that weren't Christians. So they singled us out and made us different. But we didn't call ourselves Black Muslim at all. Never did. So
Did you ever meet Farad Muhammad in your childhood? Or
you like that question, don't you? You like that. You think I'm gonna answer that one? Yes, I think so.
Oh, you think so?
I think so. Yeah, for sure. Well, that's what they used to call him. He said that's what they used to call him. So, but he introduced me as a different name.
What name did he introduce himself to you as?
Imam Muhammad Abdullah.
I'm writing all this stuff down.
Yeah, Imam Muhammad Abdullah.
And what's the interactions in the mansion when he's around Elijah Muhammad?
Beautiful. It's just two great people. He introduced him like a foreign person, a guest. He always introduced him as a guest, and That's what everybody thought he was, a guest. But some people kind of figured it out. I mean, you do things, people kind of figure things out. And every time that he would introduce and say that we have angels around us every day, he's like symbolically called him really an angel, because it took an angel to open up his eyes to Islam. So that's
why the name change?
You
don't know.
Me.
You don't know.
You got me. Now that I don't know. I just think he just used that name to be incognito. A lot of foreign people come over here and they change their name. A lot of some of the Mediterranean Muslims, they'll come over here. His name is Muhammad. And they'll say, "No, I'm Mike or Mo or Michael or Sam," and they don't always give them the real names. Just like you ever see that movie, The Untouchables?
Yeah, I ain't seen it in so long.
Costner? Yes, it's a good movie. Matter of fact, when Sean Connery was looking for a shooter, somebody could really shoot well, and join his little group of untouchables, well, he started looking at everybody and he saw one guy, and he asked the guy, he says, "What's your name?" He said, "My name is Anthony something, something, something." He said, "What's your real name before you changed it?" And you know what I mean? So and then he like challenged them, and he made him mad enough to come out, and really he brought the real Italian out of him, right? But people do that. They change their name for different reasons. They cut everything short. Like if your name Muhammad, they'll say, "Oh, my name is Mo, Manny." They want it seems like they're ashamed of the name. You should never be ashamed of your name. Elijah Muhammad taught us our name is good as gold, and it tells your history. Like you would say, well, this is Muhammad. Just say his name is Muhammad or Akbar Aziz. And then they would say, this is Muhammad Akbar Aziz Ibn Aziz. So if you say that, that means this is the son of Aziz. Ibn means the son of. They don't use junior. They don't use, seniors and juniors. We learned so much about that. When you say senior and junior, that means you as a junior will never be bigger than your father. You'll never be the senior in your life. So it kind of dethrones and depicts you being a junior. That means you'll never grow better than your father. Never. You'll always be a junior. You'll never succeed over your father, ever. And that's a crutch. That's a slap in the face trying to say, what do you mean I'm not going to be better? No, you're always going to be junior. That's it. So it keeps a man from growing. Keeps a man from growing. Psychologically, it stops your growth. That's why it's not allowed in our religion. We're not here to stop your growth. We're here to expand your growth, to be bigger, to be better. There's nothing wrong with that.
Do the stories line up with him and Farad Muhammad going to Detroit selling silks, and the man that you met in the mansion? Does those stories, because as you got older, did you delve into the history of Farad Muhammad, and did you?
Yes,
the
yes.
Stories...
I became very close with him and his family. He kind of adopted me as a granddaughter.
Farad Muhammad? Yes,
he called me. He says, "You're going to be my granddaughter, and I'm going to show you, because you're going to be really outstanding, and you're going to do things that a lot of women don't do. And you need to build. You need to build. You should be a contractor. You need to build something." And I didn't understand what he meant at that time, but when I stayed in school until I graduated, I realized I would like to build a university, Islamic university, a complex, and let it be the master landmark. I've always wanted to create a landmark of the world, and nothing could be better than an Islamic university as a landmark. So I designed one by 1976, and I still have it on my wall. And it's my ultimate plan to have a community of Islam where people can tour the mosque and tour the institution through a bulletproof glass as they're in session. And it's one of my biggest goals.
So did Farad Muhammad live in Chicago? Because he called you his granddaughter, so that means y'all saw each other often now.
Yeah, no, he lived in Oakland, California.
Oakland. Okay.
Oakland. Yeah, he lived on Bush Street. I remember the name of the street was a Bush.
So you've been to his house in Oakland as well?
Oh yeah, I've lived in his house with his wife and his sons, his brother. He used to write me letters. He was a granddaughter. I still have those letters.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Can we see it? Can you read one?
Oh, I'd have to.
Oh, okay. Well, we got time. We got a couple. We got a couple.
Hidden away. I'd have to bring them out of my storage or something.
Well,
but I still have them.
Well, the next interview, feel free to get all your artifacts, and if you want to read them, you're more than welcome to. You know what I mean? Because these interviews gonna stand the test of time. Because
it will. It is something that I cherish. They're around here somewhere. I don't know if I'll be able to have them then, but I know once I have my thinking thing on and I finally find them, I'll call you.
Oh, thank you. Did Farad Muhammad have multiple wives or just one wife?
No, just one wife.
Okay.
No.
DB?
What was the?
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Who's the brother?
DB's there. Yeah, go ahead, DB.
DB? What does DB stand for?
Yeah, that brother.
Yeah.
my question was, what made the Honorable Elijah Muhammad so special? Could anybody have taken that position to change the lives of Black folks, forever?
No, it wasn't made for nobody to do it but him. He is. Let me tell you something, brother. Let me tell you something. This little man, humble. He's a very humble person. This is the most humble. You ever see some of the Chinese and Asian movies, and you will find one of the Asiatic brothers who are leaders, and he's just real humble, and he might be small, but they respect him a lot. He's like that. He gives me I see him as this Oriental. He gives me when I see him, I feel this Oriental meekness, the humbleness. I know this man had a lot of fire in his tongue, but he had a lot of water underneath it because he might have spoke fiery sometimes, but he was still humble. And you couldn't argue with what he said because it was all true. I mean, he told it the way it is, but he did it in a educational way. He walked softly. He used to walk like he would have these businesses, right? I used to work at one of the bakeries. And when he would come into the bakery, he would never let you know he was coming. He would come, he'd have a key and he'd come through the back door and quietly walk up on you. And you go, wow, he would sneak in on you like that. He was very quiet. He didn't blow no trumpets or nothing. He would just walk up on you out of nowhere. He was a very humble man. I mean, check this out. Now, just say you're playing his record, he's speaking, and you're in the house. In our house, you couldn't move around while he's talking like you just want to listen to him speak. You have to sit and listen. You can't be moving around. That's a hell of respect for somebody to just stop what you're doing and hear him speaking and don't move. And you have no guards looking over us or nothing. It's just something you do automatically. That's how much he was respected. And it wasn't a forced thing. It wasn't a fear thing. It was like, this man is trying to teach us bring us light to ourselves, to bring us our royalty back, to bring our appreciation back, to bring that you are the Asiatic Black man, you rule this world, and you have done it for many years. And you've totally, the essence of your being here came from the essence that you were from, that you were kings and queens of Africa. You was the kings and queens of Egypt. You was the kings and queens of the Congo. He tells us what is in our history, in our background, the greatest thing that we have ever done. We've been doing it for centuries. And then all of a sudden, they kidnap you from a country, bring you over here on a ship, force you to eat what they give you, and confine you into a hut and make you be a slave for them. That's probably the most shocking thing a Black man had to ever face, to change his language. When the white man brought us over here, they stripped off of everything. The Jewish people was in slavery. They was in a genocide position where the Germans was trying to genocide them, to kill them off of the face of the earth, and they couldn't do it. But they never lost their identity. They never lost their language. They never lost their culture. They never lost what they believe in and they worship. They never lost any of that. But we did. We lost everything. We lost our language. We lost our culture. We lost everything. Now that is from one person. Nobody has done that to any of the races in the world. If you would check with all your history, and I know you have, young man, you have checked the history of Egypt, you have a lot of knowledge of people, and you've seen, what I'm saying is just an echo to you. You know what I'm talking about because you're a historian. And it is so mundane that our people, now that we are not the minorities anymore. We're not the minorities. Yeah. We are not the minorities anymore. I've seen a whole state. When Ali and I went to Florida in the 60s, that whole beach, Miami Beach, was full of Jews everywhere. Businesses everywhere, factories, clothing stores, meat companies, everything. The whole Miami Beach. Now, the whole Miami Beach is run by Cubans, Latin Americans. They're running the show now. But all these Jews gone. They kicked them off over to Boca Raton, Marina Del Rey, Boynton Beach. I mean, who can just take a whole country? People do a lot of strange things in the world. When you have all these international people coming over here because they did not fight for their freedom in their countries because they would kill them. But we had to fight for our freedom. We had to march. We had to speak out. We had to do all kinds of things, but we did it and it worked. We have our freedom. There's no colored people, white people signs for the bathroom or the swimming pools. We've come a very, very long way. We have really made a difference. And I hate when people say we ain't made a difference, and we have, literally, we have. We can go to college, we can get degrees, we can be doctors and professors. You know what I saw on TV this morning, Fred? A whole series on George Washington Carver. Woo! That guy, he was incredible. He was smarter than Einstein. This young man was smarter than Einstein. This guy made patents from a peanut and oils and carbon and fuel, things that they use up in the jets and the spaceships. This man created these oils and stuff way back. I mean, who does 300 patents? If a black man come up right now with 300 patents, he'll make Bill Gates look like Popeye. I mean, this man he was a slave and he pulled out trees and on the farm and still became a scientist. This guy was way above scientific revolutions. It's incredible. It's incredible. And it's glorifying for me to honor a man like George Washington Carver, Frederick Douglass. How do you think we got Frederick Douglass? How do you think we got Harriet Tubman? How do you think we got abolitionists? Because while the white man is putting you in slaves, and when he leaves home, the white woman will teach him how to read behind his back. We all put in sacrifice and compassion to our brethren. The thing of the hating white men and hating this, it's his deeds that really did it. Because we got black devils around right now doing evil stuff, and I just never could get to the hating. He never really told us to hate the white man, but we just hated his deeds. We hated his deeds. But the thing of it is, we need to know who we should honor and respect, and that's the human race. Because we all helped each other in a lot of things together. And that's what we should focus on today. And the more kindness, the more brilliance that we become, the more intelligent that we become to work with all people, then that's a good thing. That's where our head should be at right now, is the humanity thing. The Black history is a wonderful, desirable class to learn, because they don't really give a lot of our Black historians the proper respect that they've given us. They have really given us a lot. I mean, and they have paved the way for us. Just like fighters have paved the way for other fighters, like Jack Johnson paved the way for people like Joe Louis, and Joe Louis paved the way like people like Sugar Ray Robinson. Sugar Ray Robinson paved the way for people like Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali has paved the way like for Mike Tyson, and for Floyd Weathermaker, whatever his name is, Floyd Merriweather, whatever. You know, I can't get his name. Huh?
And Deontay Wilder.
Did you know Deontay Wilder and I are cousins?
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah. I was telling everybody, you know, on my Facebook and everything, and I had pictures, and I told my family and friends, and one of my cousins called me up and said, Kalila, Deontay Wilder's your cousin. I said, how is he my cousin? Well, Oda Mae Boyd and Deontay Wilder something or another married each other, and they became cousins. And he actually named a friend from my father's side of the family who married and became a Wilder. There are Wilders in our family, and I never knew it was Deontay Wilder. A lot of tall men in our family. But I was just shocked. I didn't know that. You know, Fred, every time you go to a family reunion, you always meet somebody you never met. the families just keep growing and growing. What's your last name?
Hawthorne.
Hawthorne? Hawthorne, like the American Indian Hawthorns? See, you probably was a chief and didn't even know it. See, your family was a chief.
Yeah, thanks.
What's your last name, the man?
Del Negro.
Del Negro? He got jokes. Okay, he got jokes.
No, that's it. DELNEGRO. Del Negro.
Oh, really? For real?
Yeah.
That was for real?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
So,
I'm sorry, Fred. I wanted to get this. I don't want to lose this right here. How did Master Farad Muhammad get to Oakland?
Oh, now, see, I don't know that part. I just know he was there when I went there. So maybe he was there all the time. I don't know. You have to go from the time I met him, but I never really got into a lot of stuff.
What year did you first meet him before you continue? What year was that? So people can have the timeline.
Okay, the timeline. I've seen him when I was younger, but I think when we really got together is when the Warisdeen Muhammad came on board and brought him to the mosque. And then I met him after that. And that was like doing I would say 75. Man came in 75. I would say around late 70s. 78,
Okay.
70, 76.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And every time I would run into him, then we'd get together, go to dinner or something like that. He asked me to come down to the house in Oakland, and I flew down there and saw his whole family. And that was in the late 70s. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Matter of fact, all the children there and cousins, they were like engineers and doctors. A lot of his families are doctors and engineers. And they're all from Pakistan, Karachi, Pakistan. He told me he studied in Lahore, Islam in Lahore, Pakistan, and his sister, Nazrat Butt, she studied in Lahore as well. So I got to meet a lot of the educators in his family. You have a lot of them.
Yeah, I don't want to lose DB questions. So about how he got to Oakland.
I don't know how he got to Oakland.
Okay.
I just knew he was there when he asked me to come.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How many kids did he have? And what was his ethnicity?
He's Pakistani.
Pakistan.
Yeah, he's from Pakistan.
How many?
A lot of his, you have some family of his that live in India as well. Mm-hmm. But Pakistan is where the majority of his family is from. And I remember he had quite a few children. Maybe I can't remember. It probably be in the letters. Mm-hmm. It's been so long since I've talked about this. Mm-hmm. He had I can't say. I know there was quite a few of them.
Okay.
But there's one wife.
Okay. How about speaking of wives, Clara Muhammad? Describe her, if you could.
And that woman, I mean, just to know her she was such a meek and humble woman. She went through so much, and she supported her husband in the entire time. Very supportive. She had a lot of children, and she supported the school. She was the one to come up with the school. She created the school to teach her children, grandchildren, and us. She was considered the first lady. Mm-hmm. And by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad being the leader, she was the first lady. She was our first lady. And we honored her so much. Later on, after her death, they changed the school name from Muhammad's University of Islam to Sister Clara Muhammad Schools. She was humble and clean and meek. When her husband went to prison, she kept the mosque going and the schools going. And she never deviated from her path, not once. And she was a very quiet person, very humble and meek too. She had determination, and it's the way she carried herself more than anything. She wore long, beautiful dresses, pearls around her neck like Queen of England. And she was our queen. She was our anarchy. And I loved her a lot. She would smile, and I would tell her things, and she'd look and she'd smile. And she said, you're in my house. You're just like one of my own children. And I thought that was very honorable for her to say that to me. Matter of fact, on a very rainy night, a rainy day when we were out of school, my mother and father was working, and she said, "Grandfather is here to teach y'all some things today." And yeah, who would like to learn how to cook? And I said, me. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad came down, and he said, I'm going to show you, me and other grandchildren, how to make bean soup. And he sat there and he cut up and had us chopping up celery and onions. And he said, put it in the pot. And he would show us one by one how to make the bean soup. Then one day he showed us how to make the bean pie. Then he showed us how to make carrot cake. That's him and his wife in the kitchen with us, his grandchildren and me, learning all these things. And I mean, I just stood up and go, oh my God. I said, oh Allah, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to be with these great leaders and great women. I just always thank Allah for that moment. Those are moments that I would cherish for the rest of my life. It's just been a blessing for me to grow up knowing these great people, serving coffee, tea to his dignitaries and guests. I mean, Martin Luther King, we had served coffee with him, and he just trained all the girls how to learn to serve. And it was just simply amazing. And I'm just thankful to Allah. I'm a Muslim, and I grew up the way I'm supposed to grow up. I was protected all my life with the right men around us. I was protected and learned from the women around us. I never knew any woman in my circle that I've lived with and talked to that was so humble and meek and genuine and loyal. I've never seen women as loyal as the women I were around. My mother, for one, and my aunties, they were loyal to their husbands. I just never saw an unfaithful woman in my life until I got married.
We'll get there in a couple of days.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's one you need to learn. Right? I'll be back. But I never knew until, I mean, the evil, the devious, the conniving. My goodness. And I pray that we instill this goodness and kindness and humbleness to our future sisters. And I mean all of our sisters. Only the Black ones, the Chinese ones, the humble Asian ones. We have Muslims all over the world that has these qualities. Are you married, Fred?
All the above.
You are? And this how great, this is what you do, go around telling history book. And I know people love you and your family, huh?
I hope so.
I know you do. I know you do.
I hope
and
so.
That's a blessed thing. I want to
so.
grow up and be just like you.
Oh man. So you said that she's been through a lot. Can you quantify it? Can you tell the things that you said that she's been through?
Yeah, well, seeing her stand up in front of us and tell us how great we are, tell us how beautiful we are, to tell us and teach us the classes that we had to go through. We had to go through certain classes that women need to go through as young women. And she stood there over us and taught us how important us to be humble, how to build your crown as a woman. And
sure.
I've never met a woman yet like her, ever. And it was just to look at royalty like that, you know, but at that time we would consider them the royal family.
Sure. And
it was bigger, it's a bigger royalty than the Queen of England. That she was our queen. She was our queen. Our Afro Asiatic original queen. And I mean, I would have done anything for her at any time.
Wow.
For her. But this is the thing. When I start seeing more than I wanted to see, she stayed strong and benevolent. And there were some people I just didn't like around her. And I wasn't thinking about nice things to do to them either. But I saw her go through, you know, disloyalty.
Can you elaborate on that?
I can't. I can't. I can't do it right now. It's just some things I just didn't see her. I just didn't see what was going on in her family when it was broken out that Muhammad had all these women impregnated with children and everything, and I saw that, and being loyal to our queen, I didn't like it at all. I didn't understand it. I didn't like it. It was just the things that we saw in the papers that you read about him having, you know, other women, and that part I didn't like. I was trying to refrain from thinking bad things, and it was just wrong, and I think it's wrong, you know. But there's a parable inside the Holy Quran says, men are made to be weak. And I've seen that in the past. But it's just not right. It's just not right.
A lot of my readings said Minister Farrakhan said that they were his wives. Were they Elijah Muhammad wives, or were they?
You can call you everything you want. It wasn't his wives. They don't want no wives. You're only supposed to have one wife in this country. Otherwise, it's bigamy. And we're not supposed to break any laws as long as it doesn't. You know, people tell you, so now that I'm older, it's a crock. Well, this wife thing is a crock. There ain't no wives. It's some other woman. To be honest with yourself. There ain't no wives. I saw his wife and his children. And the children from the wife that he had, that's all I'd see. All the other stuff is a crop. You can call them whatever you want to make you feel good or make you feel okay, give yourself an out or give yourself an excuse. But there was just women. He wasn't married but the one wife. So I don't want to hear that wife crap. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in any of it. So I don't want nobody to be said out that was his wife. No, that was his woman or his hoe or whatever. It ain't no wife. And I'm being honest with you and I'm being straight up with you. And I do not hold my tongue about the truth. There ain't no wife. Ali tried to pass that thing off. There ain't no wife. It's your hoe or your woman or whatever. But it ain't your wife. And I hate to be rude or anything like that, but I'm just being honest. It's your trollop that you do anything you want with her in spite of you having a wife and disrespecting her. And it's just wrong. I'm sorry. I ain't falling for that wife thing. Because if you want to know what wives are about, go to the Middle East. There was wives for a reason back in the day in the Middle East. Not in Chicago, not in LA, not in Atlanta, in the Middle East. They had more than one wife because of a reason, because of the war. But there was a different kind of connection. It wasn't about having sex with them or having kids with them. It was about them taking care of the husband that they used to have because they have children and they need to eat. And they would take on these wives to take care of them. It wasn't nothing personal. Then it started getting personal. Now it's personal. But in order for you to get another wife, one, if you read the Quran, it tells you she has to have a weakness of some kind. She can't have children, or she can't clean up, or she has to be a wounded woman, somebody he can't take the chores of a wife. That's saying a lot. And number two, the wife has to choose the wife. Now you need to read the fine print when you go over there. It's serious, But this is outright just going with another woman. The bottom line, no joke. I'm not going to patronize it. I'm not going to clarify it. Nothing like that. No, and it was wrong. And I think most of all, I think that hurt Malcolm X more than anything because he had a wife. He was loyal to his wife. He was loyal to the mother of his children. He was loyal. And he thought the Elijah Muhammad was loyal. And it broke his heart to find out he wasn't. There you go. I talked to him personally. He didn't like that at all. And I told him I didn't like it at all either. He was a good man. He was a true Muslim.
Can you expound on the relationship? I mean, on the conversation you had with Malcolm as a regard, and two, Malcolm alleged, I'm going to use the word alleged, that they were some were underage, some were overage. Can you expound on that as well?
He was alleged what?
I said Malcolm alleged that some of Elijah's women were underage and overage and secretaries. And can you expound on that?
Yeah, well, I guess they were, because they were there. I seen them myself. It's all true.
What's underage? Are you? I under 18 then, or under 17? What's underage then?
Well, the fact of it is, he shouldn't have been with anybody other than his wife. Basically, if anything is underage, when they say we get married and we're not underage when the mother and father gives them away. And these women did not do that. Their fathers did not give them away to Honorable Elijah Muhammad. It was not blessed or given away blessed when he was married to another woman. None of that happened. None of that. So whether they were aged or underage, they shouldn't have been there in the first place because he was already married, really. He was already married. And nobody could have been his wife legally other than his wife, period. Let's face the truth. Whether she's underage, it doesn't matter. The fact that she's just another woman going with another man and he's married is wrong. Period. All right? Ain't no wives. Now let me tell you something.
Yes.
Now there's a time where Ali said Veronica claims that Ali married him in Africa. How's Muhammad Ali gonna marry Veronica in Africa when I'm married to him already? So whatever he conned her to believe, that was just to get in her pants. And she fell for it because he did not marry her in Africa. And if he already married her, why would he get married after I divorced him? So what was all that about? So the truth always comes out, bro. The truth always comes out. A man will tell you anything to get you where he wants you to be.
Wow.
That's the conduct y'all can run on people. Other men run on people. I'm not going to say you. I'm just, It's a con. It's all a con. And if she fell for that con, that was just how she wanted to fall for it. Yeah. I bet you if I put a gun in front of their face and they talk to me, they ain't going to say that happened. Because it's not going to be true. You know what? And what I dislike is when the woman on the outside get more top billing than the wife itself. How does that go? They praise people going with other men's, other women's husbands. Why is that? Why do they praise that so much? Like Tiger Woods, the woman that he went with got more publicity than his own wife. That shouldn't go that route. They should be embarrassed. They shouldn't even be seen. They should be kept out of the papers. Because it's a disrespectful move. It is not honorable at all. So I don't know why they gigi ha ha smiling like it's a great thing. I mean, I had a woman, Veronica was walking around and sleeping with him and traveling with him right in front, broad daylight. If I was not a Muslim, she would be dead and buried already. But I respect myself. I just can't do that. But
I'll hand it over to DB in a sec. Can you expound on the conversation you and Malcolm had as it pertains to finding out that Elijah Muhammad had how many women was it, would you say? In addition to the 7 women that he had kids, would you say?
Well, I know about the 7 ones that had kids. Okay. I knew about them. I don't know about anybody. I know about the 7 that he's mentioned. I seen them all the time. I see them every day. So, yeah. Don't you think that's a bit much? Thought you was supposed to have 4 wives. He didn't want to bond that. We went beyond that, right? That's kind of way beyond the criteria, right? It's supposed to be 4 wives.
I can't answer that. I'm
because it's just, you know what? Let's do this.
Yes.
Let's just take any man going with any woman right now today that's single. How many women did they go with within a year's time? It ain't gonna be 7. You know what I'm saying?
I get it.
It ain't gonna be 7.
I get it.
It ain't gonna be 4. You can't even count them. They can't count them.
Wow.
Men go through women like we walk through the doors. I mean, you can't keep up with that count.
Gotcha.
They have the same problem when they're tracking AIDS. When they try to track down how many men are you know, how you gonna do it? You can't keep it up. I mean, you can't track. The average man today cannot say how many women he went with in a week's time. A week. I know women has gone through 20 men in a week.
Wow.
I know it. Oh yeah. They do the same thing men do. They don't care. They let them go through them. It means nothing. It's boom, 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 gone. Boom, 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 gone. That's how free these people are out here doing all this craziness. You know, I've seen movies like Snapped. What I went through, I've seen women go to jail killing people for somebody messing with their husband. Snap, gone. Just on the misery and the pain. And they snap. And they will kill you. You're messing with somebody who has loved you, cherished you, did everything they can for you, and then all of a sudden, you go home and you catch a woman in your bed? Wow, bro. That's some heavy stuff.
The conversation,
You know?
Between you and Malcolm.
Me and Malcolm.
In 1964. Yeah. That was about 1964, right? Y'all had this conversation? 63?
No, it was around 63 because I was serving him at the table.
Oh, wow.
I was just 13 at the time.
How old were you, by the way?
13.
Because people are going to, you were 13 having this conversation with Malcolm X? Wow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Wow. You bold.
Because he had a problem.
You were
see,
bold.
I came very close to Betty. See, and he would say, "Is Betty okay?" And so He said, "Did she see anybody up under Elijah Muhammad other than his wife?" And I said, "She probably did. So did I." I said, "But don't make a big thing out of it, you know. Don't make a big thing out of it. Everybody can't be loyal like you." And that was just serving coffee at the time. He snuck that over to me, and I was like really embarrassed because I really loved Elijah Muhammad. I was kind of embarrassed at the same time, but you know, reality always kick in. So I said, everybody's just not loyal. And then Betty would talk to me and say, "Can I call you later?" And we would sneak and take calls. Even after I was married, Betty kept in contact with me. Miss Betty Shabazz, she would call me like on Wednesdays when she was teaching at the University in New York. So on Wednesday night, that was our talk night, our chit chat time. And Malcolm's already gone then, but I kept her a little level headed. She was pretty angry. And she didn't trust anything. She couldn't trust Elijah Muhammad. She didn't trust anyone. Yeah. So they went through a pretty heavy ordeal. And it wasn't, Elijah Muhammad really loved Malcolm. He really admired him. That's why he said he can talk to people from the streets. That's what he loved it. He loved his technique of talking to people from the streets. He said, "That's why we need you. You can talk their language," and he admired him for that. And when things started going south, Elijah Muhammad said, "Hey, I told anybody who was do not touch it. Malcolm X, do not touch him." And even though maybe there were some jealous members didn't like Malcolm, it's very possible. And it made it look like it was always coming from Elijah Muhammad, but it wasn't. He really admired Malcolm even after he went on his merry way. And he knew that he was going to learn more about Islam, and a lot of members presumed there would be a threat. People, when you have a leader and you have people, a lot of times people do something the leader doesn't know, And Malcolm was just loyal. He was just shocked. So a lot of times we get shocked about things. We don't understand them. And we have to understand that when people say things, they should be loyal to their word. Their word should be bond. but things don't always come out the way we want them. That's true. Malcolm, I was very, I think at the age of 10, 11, I was a very advanced young girl. And I believe what I see. I don't understand a lot of stuff. I have never seen, if I'm loyal, they'll be loyal, but it doesn't always work that way. I begin to wake up. Yeah. Being a Muslim now, under the leadership of Prophet Muhammad, and I see the Nation of Islam now saying the same rhetoric. It doesn't seem right anymore. It doesn't seem it's not what we're supposed to be. There are certain things that the actions is not the way we should have handled things. You know what I mean? So I am glad that Elijah Muhammad taught us the things that we have learned that I will never forget, and I will always keep it with me. And it's not the person. People are always going to be disloyal or not faithful, and because they're individuals, and every individual have to be accountable for their own actions. Every individual should be accountable for your own actions. So the way that we're taught about al-Islam now is so much real, so much better. And it's teaching us how to forgive and how to change our way of thinking when it comes to when people do things against you or from you. It's not as bad as it always seems. It could be worse, right? So you have to learn to forgive, you know. You have to learn to forgive and move on. You know what I mean? There are good things that I learned about Elijah Muhammad. There's good things I was not satisfied with, you know, and disloyalty was one of them. But, you know, you have to be grateful for what you got out of people, what you learned from people, whether they did wrong or whether they was disloyal. But essence is, I look at the better side, the better points, the better parts. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have known those parts, because that's what happened. And you can't say what didn't happen. You have to say what did happen. But I've learned so much from the loyalty that I got from it, from the righteous part that I got from it. But the hating part is not something he taught. It's just people just, if it's in them, they're going to hate anyway. It's just what you make out of it. So I made myself say, hey, you know what? I am thankful that I went the route that I went. I'm thankful that my father made a good choice for me, for my life, for giving me life and for giving me another life as a religious way of life. And I will always be grateful for it. And even though I'm disappointed with certain things going along the way, it's okay, because now I've had that to replace with the truth of al-Islam, the truth. And I'm always searching for the truth. I'm always searching for the truth. I'm just thankful that I didn't turn into Goodfellas like I got here on my wall. The gangster part, if I wasn't a Muslim, I would be a total gangster, and I would be totally hurting some people who hurt me. Right, yeah, right. I would be totally doing that. Right. But the religion has gotten me where there's You know what? You ever see the movie Equalizer?
Yeah,
Two?
with Denzel.
Yes, he did. He said this thing. He said, when he found out these people killed his friend, it was like four or five of them, and he came to him and he said, "You know what? I'm going to kill each and every one of you. But the sad part of it, I can only do it once." He said, "I can only do it once." And that's the sad part. He can only do it once. So I'm saying that to say this. I would like to kill each and every person that hurt me. but I can only do it once. But see, if I wanted to do it 10 times over, see, a revenge only lasts until it's ended. And that's it. So they always say God punishes people 10 times more than you would. And so, hey, that backed me up right away. I said, yeah, go ahead. I want to see all those 10 times come right there. But see, the only thing about it, our satisfaction is not going to be important. It's God's satisfaction. Gotcha. So, but even if I know he's going to do it 10 times more than that, I'm so good with that. I'm so good with that. I can accept that. But just to kill a person once for some stupid thing he hurt you with, that would be mundane. I would rather him live to suffer. And that's what I did. I made him live to suffer.
DB?
He suffered.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, he got his up and comings for sure. More than I would have ever done. More than I would have ever done. But then again, I forgave him because we did so much good together. We've traveled the world together. We struggled and suffered together. It was awesome. Awesome journey, Fred. Awesome journey.
I bet.
Yeah, it was so, it was like, compared to the three things he bad for me, 85 things he did good.
I bet.
And maybe, yeah, and bad. Only 85 he did good. But the rest of the remainder, it was all bad. And it was bad enough to forgive him for it.
I bet.
It was bad enough to forgive him for it and see him suffer for it.
I bet.
And I saw him suffer more than I wanted to. And it was a good thing because people are going to make mistakes. Some people are not going to choose the right way or the right path. And they're going to do what they're going to do. But then again, that's for them to learn from.
Sure.
You know what I mean? That's for them. And this is the thing. I thank Allah for my father. By having a man like him to be good to my mother and good to his family, it's like I always knew if I know this man exists, then all the bad men doesn't mean anything because I know that there are good men out there because I actually seen them with my own eyes. And I will always be grateful to our Black men who have the power to do the right thing, to the right family, to the right wife, to be loyal as much as they can. And if you're not going to be loyal, try to keep it far, far away from your family. And your punishment will be the fact that we find out. That will be your punishment. But because we always end up finding out. Nothing hides under the sun.
I bet.
So you know what? Muhammad Ali's he's like a big elephant in New York City. You can't hide that guy. So everything that you do, wrong or right, everybody's going to see it. And I guess he did not see the big picture. And we're not all, bad people. We just make mistakes. We make big mistakes. And that's for all of us. We all make big mistakes. And, I'm not perfect either, but I didn't do what he did. I wouldn't do what he did. I wouldn't do that. But But we all made mistakes in life. And you know what? Whatever anybody thinks, you know, everybody, like my grandmother said, every tub sits on its own bottom. You see? So it's not bad. We just make mistakes. We do things out of lust. We do things out of emotions.
Sure.
And sometimes we do things out of respect. And we're going to be graded for those things. Elijah Muhammad is not here anymore. He did his duty as what he thought would be good to uplift our Asiatic original people, our indigenous people. He did what he had, and then he had his own issues. But it's the fact that he gave so much more. He gave so much more. And you have to give them respect for the more that they did. And just forgive them for the bad that they did, and just keep them on that throne of respect, on the throne of success, on the throne of sacrifice. It's much more important than the bad stuff. It really is. Yeah. And Malcolm was, I loved his laugh. I mean, when that man laughed, everybody, and you might not even think it was funny, but you would laugh along with him anyway, because he was that wholesome. He was that genuine. That man's been through so much in life. And I think he repented himself through Allah for the most part, and came out of his demonhood, his reckless ways of life. But that's how he learned about life. That's how he learned who he was. And I forgive Malcolm for anything he did. I'll forgive any man for anything that they do wrong, because that's the only thing that we're going to have to protect us. That's the only thing that we're going to have that will provide for us. And that is the only thing that we have that will lead us. And we just have to forgive. I don't appreciate our women. They don't give enough for the men to give them encouragement and support. Just sending the men to jail and all of this. I mean, they need to sit down and talk to the fathers of the children's father and say, look, sweetheart, we've made some bad decisions, but you are a good man and you could be better. Be stronger. And if you say that enough to a black man, you'll turn him all the way around. He'll be able to do more things to you than you can ever dream of, because they're worthy of the good word. And if they just going to be an outright dog, let them be a dog by themselves. Don't you call them that. Don't call them that. And as much as I tried to help Ali get on the right track, he did his duty. We had fun. I enjoyed him. We had children. We had a lot of fun. And I decided, hey, you know what? I'm not going to have no judge tell us what to do with our kids. Those are our children, right? So, let's be friends, man. You sure you ain't going to fall in love with me again? No, we're going to be friends, bro. And I just don't want nobody hurting you. And you letting these women hurt you. They're gold diggers. That's all they want. They don't give a care about you and nobody else's of what's going in their pocket. That's it. So you know what? I'm going to be your friend. I'm going to be the mother of your children, and I'm going to be your friend. That's where it's going to be with us. We ain't arguing, fighting, fuss. And that's not, we've been too far, too long to do the right thing. Let's just be friends, bro. And if our attitude with our women would be with the fathers of their children, they should be the same way. It's old news, babe. It's done. Whatever's been done has been done. Get over it. Let's start a new plantation. Let's start a new life. Bro, you can do anything you want. Don't argue with that man. Give him encouragement and then let it go. See what he do. And if he hears it enough, long enough, he'll pull through with strength, with integrity, if that's where they want to go. Because they make their kingdom the way they want to make their kingdom. You know, so many influences out here. We have to try to teach them to be strong, you know. That's all. Yeah. A lot of women don't trust men no more. They go with women now. That's really bad. That's bad. I'm going to tell the world that's bad. Yeah.
Tell them.
I said it, and I ain't biting my tongue about it.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you
DB.
spoke on that. I'm glad you spoke on that. And a lot of times people are focusing on, you know, the alleged infidelities and the shortcomings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to discredit him from, you know, from his leadership. And
Right.
I don't think those things can discredit him from his great accomplishments that he's done for Asiatic and melanated peoples, especially when they highlight all of the things that these guys like Abraham Lincoln, John F. Kennedy, Donald Trump, they heavily praise and revere these guys, and these dudes are deliberately doing evil. So, you know,
deliberately,
I think that,
deliberately,
right.
Is that right? And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is, oh my God, I still get goosebumps on my arm about this little man that was courageous and bold, and he had do you know his whole empire? He had temples in every city, every mosque, every school. He had the biggest produce of whiting fish than anybody in America today. They transport whiting fish all over the country. He's the only one that made billions of dollars on whiting fish across the globe. I mean, he will never, nobody will ever be able to touch his feet as far as when it comes to economics. The man was a master at it. And I will always be in great gratitude and thank Allah for bringing these men in our path, to bring who I've met in my path. I mean, if you would go to any school about Black America, honey, I've more than likely already met them. As long as they didn't go for as back as Frederick Douglass. But anybody in this year and time, the last 50 or 60 years, I've met kings and queens and rulers of countries that I'll always be grateful to Allah for giving me a path, to giving me a man who I decided I wanted him to be the greatest husband of all times. And I did it. And I helped because he was telling it. Yeah, he didn't do it all by himself. I'm going to tell you that right now. But he had help. He had assistance. And when you read my book, you're going to say how much I really supported my husband to make him the greatest man of all time. That was my focus. And I did it. And we did it together. It was a husband and wife thing, man. I mean, the way I carried myself made him look good. So you can't tell me that Barack Obama got where he is without Michelle. You can't tell me that. You can't tell me that Colin Powell and his wife got to where he got without her. Don't tell me that. You can't tell me that. You can't tell Muhammad Ali got the way he was without Khalil Ali. All the rest was aftermath. I was the true wife to suffer with that man. All the rest of them were gold diggers.
Tell them.
That's right. They broke families up. And you know why they broke them up? Because he allowed that to happen. He allowed it. They can't go no further than he allows. There you go. That was his mistake. That was his mistake.
Yeah, when you were younger, when you would be out in public at the bakery, even when you worked at the grocery store, out in public, you know, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was a little man, about 5'5" or so. How would people interact with him or react to him?
Like they're in state of shock, like they would see the King of England. I mean, they were like, just very submissive, very honorable, and he deserved to be honorable and submissive. I mean, but he didn't take it to his head. He was a humble man. Yeah. Ali was more like the greatest. You know, you tell Muhammad Ali that he's conceited. He said, I ain't conceited. I'm convinced. How you gonna beat that? You can't beat that. You better not get on the wrong side. He might call you a rabbit or a rat or a mouse or a gorilla. So, you know, it was a lot of fun meeting him. And Ali, I'm gonna be honest with you now, the guy, I would hate the guy if he didn't have a sense of humor. But he had a sense of humor. But see, he didn't have any malice in his heart. He didn't have any hatred in his heart. He was a loving person. He loved older people. He loved children. He loved everybody. And that's the only reason why I couldn't take him away, because he was just such a wonderful guy. He just didn't do the right thing. He became a narcissist when he got in between what he craved for or whatever. But you don't ever want to see his dark side. And I saw his dark side and I did not like it. So, but I'd say if I can't deal with somebody like that, if you can't learn from me, you don't need me. And he just figured he got everything he wanted. He didn't need me. He didn't need me. But this is the thing. He didn't leave me. I left him. That's the difference. That was the difference, because he didn't want me to go. He wanted his candy, his cake, and his pie too. So that wasn't going to happen on my watch anymore. That was enough. So I had to let him go. I'm not a captain of a ship. I let the captain sink his own ship. I'm not going to sink with him. So that's the difference between narcissism and love. He was just a lovable guy. Just a friendly and lovable guy. He was so easy to be manipulated. Ali was very easy to be manipulated. And when I saw how easy he could be manipulated, I didn't have a chance in hell. I didn't have a chance in hell with these gold diggers out here. They go after you, man. They be all in the rooms and just like Mike Tyson, they be all in the rooms. They be after him, and then they blame him for it when they don't get what they want. That's what women do. That's what these females out here doing now. You cannot. These people always want something. They always want, instead of them being dignified ladies the way they should be, you know, they end up get hurt in the end, and then they start hating all men, and then they go to a different direction. You know, they're trying to build a new Babylon. Believe it or not, Rome is coming back.
Yeah.
Rome is coming back. They're trying to build a new Babylon. It's serious out here, bro. Did you know history repeats itself? That's the scary part. There's a new Babylon coming. It don't matter who you are. And the more they start giving marriages to the same sex, we're always going to be in hell. They should stop that right now. If they want to do it, let them do it. Don't give them no rights to get married. That's totally out of the picture.
Right.
That's wrong.
Right.
That's wrong. And I'm not going to stand for it. You know?
Wrong is wrong. Yeah, going back to that same question, though, I mean, these were probably more Black folk that were looking at the Honorable Elijah Muhammad this way. How did non-Muslims and white folk react to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad when they saw him out in public?
Oh, well, they respected him more. When he would go, I would be at the Coliseums and see him talking, call the white man the devil to their face. They like it when somebody stands up and tells the truth. They like it. There's two people Ali used to say. Do you like George Wallace? Well, George Wallace says he's a racist and he hates Black people. And Ali said, well, I trust him more than I trust anybody else because at least he tell you where his heart is at. He's being honest with you. Now, that person I can respect. So I'm saying to you, the white people respected the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. They respected him because he did not hold his tongue. He know they're the devil. They know that they're the devil. They know that because they do devilish deeds. The founding forefather of this country, Thomas Jefferson, Adams, Zachary, Lincoln, all those people that made the First Amendment, these white forefathers knew the evil that white people have in their midst. They know them. That's why they made the Constitution of the United States, because they know they're evil. And if you don't set nothing straight now, they're going to try to rule and bring slavery back. And they know this. These white forefathers, they know the evil that's in their house. They know the evil the white man has. They know that. They said, let's lay something down before we go, because it's going to be an evil time. And they're going to bring that evil out because they know them. Evil is in everyone. They will finagle. That's why you got the Illuminati now. You're fighting the devil out here. You're fighting the devil. And if you don't read your Bible, and if you do not read your Holy Quran, if you do not read your Torah and go by that guide, you're going to have a problem. There's always going to be a problem. There's always going to be a problem.
DB got one more question. He got to run. Go ahead, DB.
Okay, DB, what's up? I like you already.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Just real quick, and I know we'll talk about this more later on, but
absolutely.
Did you work with Jim Kelly and also Sabir Muhammad as a part of, was that by chance or was that a part of the security curriculum?
Security curriculum. I became a master at 10, my first black belt, and Bruce Lee and I exchanged films. He wanted these films by Muhammad Ali. I made sure he got them. And in exchange, he taught me some Jit Chindu, which was one of his own style that he created. And I kind of kept my karate thing on a secret tone. It's not good to let everybody know what you're doing. I was very secretive back in those days. I was a little shy too. So I kind of kept it to myself. My father and I were deer hunters in Mississippi, and my uncles, and I was taught how to use a rifle and guns at a young age. And so when I became the guard, sister captain guard at the armory, I would tell them certain tips in case somebody saw a gun or something like that. And I would tell them to check, please check. And usually when a sister sees a gun, I tell them to say that, and I'll come to their aid, and I can take the weapon, have it unloaded, and give it to the proper authorities, because I was trained to do that. So when I see them stuttering, trying to say check, 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 then I'm there to disarm the weapon. And then, of course, the sister, whoever she was, she disappeared in seconds. And I had the gun. I turned the gun and the bullets over to Captain Yusuf Shah, and or Captain Elijah Muhammad, one of the sons of Elijah Muhammad, who was head of security as well. So I used to do a lot of the security. Like when I was serving the tea and coffee when I was like 13 or whatever, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, you watch them, you bodyguard them for me, you keep your eyes on them. And I did. And that's why I was kind of like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X kind of security when they visited, because, they would never expect a woman. So I kind of kept it under my head most of the time when it comes to security. Because when you go to hear the Honorable Elijah Muhammad speak, you're not going to enjoy what they hear. That's why we came up with the searching system way before they started doing it at the airports. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad was ahead of his time when it came to that. So I want you to read one of the chapters. I think it's chapter 7. Where I flipped Muhammad Ali into another room when he came in the house without a key. Yeah. Yeah. And he called Howard Cosell. Howard Cosell, I married a woman that can kick my ass. I said, you're not supposed to tell everybody that. Keep it down. Oh, no, man, you knocked me over. How did you do that? So that's okay. Everything's cool. I tried to sneak and do my karate classes without him knowing it. And he caught me. I was doing a tournament with the Puerto Rican guy, and he thought I was going with the guy, and I actually won that tournament too. So I didn't want Ali to know, because he's a man of competition. I don't want him to be trying nothing with me, because it's not going to work if he's on the floor. I'm not going to get in the ring with the guy. That's his comfort zone. I ain't doing that. Right. But I will get you on the floor. I'll get you on the floor the second. Yeah. It's and also, when I was 10 years old, I was an honor student, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad would give rewards to young students that become an honor student. And what was that? The first thing he said, I want all the honor students to we're going to drive them to Meigs Field in Chicago, and you're going to get in a helicopter, and we're going to fly all over Chicago. Well, when he did that, boy, oh boy, that's when I said I want to learn how to fly. And from then on, by the time I was 22, I was an aviator to fly planes. I just love it. I love flying planes, and he just didn't. Ali did not like me flying at all, because he's scared of flying. So, but since then I've been flying a lot. I was flying over in Pakistan, Islamabad, and the pilots found out I was a pilot, and they put me in one of the planes that I actually trained on, and it was like I hadn't flown in 30 years. I flew up there and did a 360. That means turn the flip over a couple of times. It's the greatest feeling in the world. I still love doing it. Yeah. If I start all over again, I would be a pilot. That's what I would be. Yeah. But yeah,
DB got to get out of here. And
DB,
I got a couple more questions, then we'll get out of here.
Okay. DB, it was nice meeting you.
My pleasure.
Thank you,
May
DB.
God continue to bless you, DB.
Likewise. I don't feel comfortable calling you sister. I gotta call you Queen Mother, because you got too much knowledge and too much experience for me to refer to you as sister. So you are Queen Mother. You know what?
But check this out, DB. When I travel all over the world and I speak at all the colleges and schools, I've noticed that everybody, no matter where I am, they don't even know each other. It's from coast to coast. They always come up with Mama Ali. So that's my brand name now, Mama Ali. So you can call me Mama Ali.
Mama Ali. We like that.
Yeah.
Mama Ali.
Yeah. Yes, Mama Ali. That's good. I like that.
Well, I appreciate you spending some time with us and coming to the barbershop to chop it up with us. Always good to get your energy, and look forward to talking to you soon. So, be safe, and assalamu alaikum to you.
Alaikum assalam, my dear brother. You be safe as well. May Allah continue to bless you in the future.
Likewise.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. Couple more minutes. I want to go through this names with you, and if you could just give us like a couple words about them.
Okay.
Emmanuel Muhammad.
Emmanuel, Uncle Emmanuel. He is the sweetest, lovable person. He's the father of Rakaya and Fatima and Badar, and what's the other little one's name? I forgot. But he lived on the corner, right across from Waradin Muhammad. He was the oldest, I think, the oldest son of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You know, a thin guy. Him and my father were very tight. Brother Emmanuel he's just a lovable father. He's just a good person. I have missed him for many years, and I think of him often. He's just a genuine family man, good man.
Ethel Muhammad.
Oh, gosh. Ethel Muhammad was like the queen bee. She was the beautiful, dark complexion, beautiful features. She was, oh my God, she was the dean. No, that wasn't it. She was the supreme of all female captains. Her daughter Zainab, her son Hassan. Oh my goodness. Her daughter Clara Marie, her daughter Sharon. I know them all. She was on the cover of the Sepia magazine in Chicago and showing the whole Muslim family because she was the lead head supreme captain of all women all over the nation. Beautiful. She cooks so well and so good. I've had good food. She was a leader. She was an anarch. She was, if I had to name any Amazon women in the world, she would be it. My captain, my supreme. I love her dearly. She talked to my mother many times and my dad. She was just, it was just, I felt like I was family to her. And today, I still talk to Zainab and her son, you know, and we still have that family connection. We still communicate together.
Beautiful. Lottie Muhammad.
You know, if I had to name a woman to be like any other woman in the street, you remember Mae West? You remember Mae West, do you?
No.
Oh, snap. Mae West is one of the biggest comedians.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Come to see me sometime, big boy.
Yeah.
Is that a 10-gallon hat? Or are you just happy to see me? Her waistline was small like that, and just like Mae West, she had a beautiful figure. Her Muslim name turned out to be Sister Raya. She is the mother of Halima, Wali Muhammad, and Aisha, and Amir. And I know them all. We all like family. Her daughters graduated high school together with me. Aisha was just Aisha lives in Atlanta now, and it's just wonderful. And Wali, unfortunately, Wali Muhammad is the one passed away. He was called a communicator. He got on the radio and he would do announcements for the radio. He was really outgoing. And Wali is the one that literally introduced me to Cassius Clay. He was the one that actually literally introduced me to Cassius Clay. And he was my prom date at my prom. This is when the Elijah Muhammad let the sisters sit in front of a boy and eat dinner for the first time. But he wasn't really a boy. He was somebody I grew up with, so it wasn't the same thing. But Wali Muhammad is the son of Sister Raya, aka Sister Lottie Muhammad. She was the dean of girls in the school.
Nathaniel
was, I would always see him when he would come in town every once in a while. He was a minister in, I think, Cleveland, Ohio. But he was in Kansas City or something. He always called me on the phone, check on me to see how I'm doing and everything. His sons were Nathaniels, Samira, Salima, and many, many others. And I miss him very much. He was a very good man too.
Jabir.
Okay, Jabir Lycan, aka Herbert Muhammad,
Herbert Muhammad,
who was the manager of
your husband,
Muhammad Ali. He represented Ali. Matter of fact, by him representing Ali, it kept the gangsters off of Ali. Actually, it was really good protection that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had him to be his manager. He was a person who he was a bad influence for Muhammad Ali in one way, but a good influence for Muhammad Ali in another. That's a whole book by itself. Okay. He wasn't the loyalist man in the world. No, I can't put that on him. But he was a kind person. He was just kind.
Elijah Muhammad Jr.
Elijah Muhammad Jr. Well, we used to call him E2. That was the guy who was part of the security who I would give guns to if I saw somebody come in the mosque or a place of a speaking engagement, like mostly at the Coliseum in Chicago, the Armory. I've went with him many times to his home in Mississippi, and I kept in touch with him until he passed away. And that was just recent. That was a good man. I even said, why don't you marry me? And he says, I can't marry you. You was married to the greatest. And he always said that. He would always say that till that in my face. I would love been married to him. But then I said maybe I should never marry in the Muslim family because we grew up together. We're too much like family. So that would have never happened. He was a wonderful man.
Wallace D. Muhammad.
That is my true hero. By him upgrading al-Islam to the highest extent. He was a leader like his father, but a true leader, a loyal leader. I used to thought he was Zorro, to be honest with you. He used to wear this thin mustache, and I used to see Zorro with this thin mustache, but he had a mask on his face. And I said, Uncle Wallace is Zorro. He's trying to save the people, and he actually literally did. So I used to call him Zorro, and that was a good man. His wife was very supportive of him. He taught me the proper way of Ramadan for the first time. Him and his family taught me the correct way of Ramadan. And we had to upgrade the religion to the right level, right? So he was the one that taught us to say prayers in Arabic and how to proceed properly in the Ramadan true position. Got it. And I loved him with the bottom of my heart. And he was just, sometimes I still cry that he's gone. And I see him on the Facebook teaching, and it was, I never wanted to miss any of his speaking because he speaks. And I mean, I was sitting next to a woman, and a Caucasian woman, and she heard him speak and she became Muslim. Wow. And wow, this is the impact that I like to see Islam go. Wow. And she looked at me and she said, you know him? And she said, yes. And that woman is such a good Muslim woman. And she is just, the things that he said and the way he said it, it just impacts so many foreigners. And I already knew that there are Muslims in every race because it's for all mankind. And I was just touched by him. Matter of fact, I'm going to say he is first and foremost my favorite out of all of them. My favorite.
Akbar.
Yeah. Akbar. What amazes me about Akbar, that I loved him most, is that he went on and got education from afar, and he can speak that language better than the people in the Middle East. And matter of fact, I love languages even before I met him, but when I saw him, I knew that I could learn more languages as well. And Akbar, I never had that much contact with Akbar, but he would always smile at me and say, "You're a beautiful sister." And it's just amazing. He was the quiet one.
Okay. Lucille Muhammad.
Lucille. You know, let me tell you something. There's a lot of warriors in Islam. Lucille is one of them. Lucille, she is no holds barred. Lucille is out there. She's beautiful. She's charismatic. And she stays the same all the time, no matter what happens. Lucille is one of them. I love her.
June Muhammad.
She has a beautiful son. She has a beautiful son.
What are you holding back about June?
June's a pretty girl and everything, but you know, I'm not fond of her actions, but I mean, she never did nothing wrong to me and nothing like that. But you know, she should have did something in a different way. But I guess, you know, like I said, they can't do no more than they're forced to, right?
Sure.
I don't respect her.
Okay.
But I do as a human being, she's a nice person, and I love her son and daughter. You know, they were like my little babies, and so I had to be around them. And Muhammad, he's a little strange one, but I mean, yeah, it was a big thing about them reading through water and all this kind of stuff. But you know what? You know, believe it or not, he looked just like they don't realize Muhammad to me. So he was like they don't realize Muhammad. So you know, they my babies. I came up with them, and they just my babies. You know, I'll always love him and Aisha. I just love him, and he's my baby. I always hug him when I see him. I just don't respect what Mama did, but that's the way I am.
Can you elaborate on what she did?
Well, she was one of with had children by the Elijah Muhammad, and I know this, but I just respect that. I just don't like it, but she's still human. Sure. But and the babies, it wasn't their fault. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
it's never the kids' fault, right?
It's never the kids' fault, but I just disrespect women who do that, and she's one of them.
Gotcha. And Evelyn Williams.
I don't know that much about her. I can't say anything about her.
Tayanetta Muhammad.
Oh snap! That's the Veronica, right? So she's like the Veronica. I don't know. I just don't respect it. I don't respect those people.
Ola?
I just don't respect.
Okay.
No, I don't respect any of those.
Yeah, Tayanetta's Tayanetta was the one that Louis Farrakhan brought on stage, correct? One of them, one of the
I know
women.
he always bring Tayanetta on stage. He always bring the woman or women that he was with. He always support the women that he was with. I guess he admires that. And so I just still don't like it. I don't like it.
Sure.
I'm sorry. I know our sons,
Yeah.
But like I said, it ain't the children's fault.
Right.
I just don't believe in that. I love Sister Claire Muhammad too much.
Got that.
I respected her too much. And if that's the way things had to go that way, I just don't condone that. I'm sorry.
Sure.
I'm not sorry, but I'm sorry.
I get that. Ola Muhammad.
I don't know her well.
Lovetta Muhammad.
I don't know her well.
And Bernique Kushmir.
Bernique Kushmir.
Yeah. BERNIQUE CUSHMER. Had a girl named NEMAH. Nemai.
Oh, I don't know her.
Oh, okay.
I know of them, but I don't know them.
Okay.
I didn't spend time with them.
How did the finances work with all the kids and the bean pies and the papers? How did that work? First, let's deal with the families since we just mentioned. Let's keep it together so people can hear that. How did the relationships work? Was he active in their lives, or were they spread out across America?
Well, they were quiet. I mean, people kept them on the wraps. I mean, they weren't out there. People who knew them. They didn't expose them like this is my wife or nothing like that. No, they didn't. They stayed on the cover.
Mm-hmm.
They stayed on the cover. Farrakhan brought them all out to the forefront and made them spectacles. And but they are not known. Elijah Muhammad is only known for his one wife and his children, and that's respect I always have in my heart and in my mind. All that other rhetoric was not supposed to be there. And they have taken no part in his struggle or anything. That's beside the point. That's after he made all the money, here they come. So like I said, I do not respect nobody going with somebody else's wife. I don't like that. I don't care about them. I don't talk about them. They're not important to me.
Sure.
So all I would do is always give respect to Sister Claire Muhammad. She's helping with the school and the struggle. All the other stuff don't mean anything to me. I do not respect that.
Right.
And I have nothing to say about them.
Right.
I would not say, oh, here's Tayanetta. This was the so. I would never do that. She would never get any respect from me, ever. Only if I greeted her and I saw her pass me, I would greet her and I would keep going. I ain't got nothing to say to these people. I'm telling you, I don't put no woman before the wife, ever. Never. No.
Yeah, because she deems it like normal, like based off her energy. What I've seen her, that famous clip with with Louis Farrakhan bringing her up on Savior's Day.
Well, that's where she get all her pumping it from Farrakhan.
Yeah.
Farrakhan feeds off of that because he had children by this woman. If that's what he loved, that's what he loved. But I would never do it.
Sure.
I would never take a picture with her in front of nobody. I would never do that because it was wrong what she did. It was disrespectful. If he had divorced his wife and married her, it's a whole different ballgame.
Right.
There's a way of doing everything in life, and leeching off a man for money. Hell, it was money. It was about money and power. And trust me, they wasn't in the will for anything. So you know what? Nor will I be. I will not grandstand a whore. I'm just being honest with you.
So you think Tayanetta was a whore?
What do you think she was?
I'm asking. You were there. I don't know the exact, but if I see
Gold digger.
A gold digger? Yeah.
Gold digger.
Got it.
And a whore.
Where'd the money go? How was the
I
finance?
don't know. Now see that? Now with their finances, I don't know. I wasn't that deep in it. When I disrespect you, I'm done with you. I don't get into your financial stability. Matter of fact, when it comes to any kind of finances, I do not discuss, elaborate, or give any detail about finances, not even with my family, because it's inappropriate. It's inappropriate to speak about your finances because that's something that is private. Let the Kardashians do all that stuff. Let them get robbed all the time because it ain't going to be me. I could be a multi-billionaire. If they say it, that's just whatever. You're just getting it from the vibes from the media because you ain't getting it from me.
Right.
If I won $2 billion, I would never tell you.
Right.
They have to look it up on Google because I would never tell my finance. That's see, when you're talking about etiquette, finances is off the table right away.
Get that.
Because one, you're putting my children in jeopardy.
Right.
You're putting my children as a target. You're putting me as a target. And I will not, in my security mind of safety, finance will never be on the table.
Get that.
So I ask you, what your finances like? How do you make money a day? How much did you make last year? Is that my business?
Right.
It's not my business. And everybody else that want to know my financial business ain't gonna tell them. Can't tell them. It ain't no business. It's not their business. That's what these celebrities need to get off that page. They need to get off and tell them how big their house is, how big their living room is, how many cars you got. These are all private institutions.
Right.
If you cannot get off on me being talented as an artist or as a basketball player, just guess it because you ain't getting it from me. LeBron James, he'll go back tell his finance. He might say, well, I might give this to so many colleges, or I might donate to this or whatever. They can do that all they want. As long as they're supporting businesses, when they give, God will bless them to give. But it shouldn't be anybody's business how much you give.
Right.
That's not important. You give to give out of your heart. You start naming numbers and stuff. I refuse to tell you how much I'm going to give these people because that's private between me and God himself. Now, if the other forces go out and say, oh, they gave us $20 million. Well, that's them telling you that. I'm not going to tell you that. Yeah, there's certain things that never be told on media. It's just not proper.
Did you ever have any conversations with Elijah Muhammad about how he broke your heart and the great things that he's done for you and how he broke your heart with Clara Muhammad?
No, I never. See, when I saw what I saw, I kept what I saw to myself. First of all, it was embarrassing to even speak about such a thing. And the fact that he's a leader and everything, it just wasn't right for me to even talk about it. I would have never confronted him about that, ever. That's just something I would keep to myself. If I saw it, I'd keep it to myself. That's some of the pride of security that's important. When you have private sessions, like little common stuff that you asked me about Malcolm or something, that's still private, but to say that I was close to him and I would say certain things, I just won't tell you some really heavy stuff that I talked to him, but I would never tell because it wasn't told to me to tell. And it was understood that I would keep it private.
You don't think history needs to know that? Or maybe you need to write?
No.
Really?
No, because you know why? It wasn't nothing that serious.
Okay.
It wasn't that serious for history. I would rather keep the positive thing of the history there and just don't tell the negative stuff. Like, I have a book and I'm telling some stuff that I want people, the young girls, to learn from it.
Sure.
But the excesses, cruel and excessive, I just would never tell, because that's just something he went through. He probably would never do it again. But he's done so much more for the people. He's done so much more for humanity.
Right.
He's done so much more for his belief.
Was Elijah?
And
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. I would never say that about Elijah Muhammad.
Okay.
I would never talk to him. I didn't talk to him about that. I talked to Sister Clara and said, I love you. And no matter what happens, you'll always be my first lady. I said that to her. And I love you. Yeah. So I've never said anything other than that.
Is the Nation of Islam a religious group or now do you look back at it, was Elijah Muhammad a religious leader or a leader? Or obviously he got to be one. I mean, like a non-religious leader, or was the Nation of Islam?
I think he was a human leader. He gave us more of a philosophy of respect and manners, more about respect, more about opening your mind to knowledge, open your mind to realism, open your mind to logic, open your mind to, your really faith and belief. Have faith and belief in yourself. He was a person who taught self-knowledge, self-preservation. Sure. And he taught us the power of yourself. He wasn't that much of a religious person. He just he opened the doors to Islam for you, but yet he opened the doors of his philosophy, more or less a philosophy. But the Nation of Islam that he had was totally different, totally the first, totally gone now. He's gone. He wanted his son to flourish and teach Islam. He didn't want to revive the Nation of Islam. He did not want to. That was something that was done by Farrakhan by himself. That was a self-portal to self-revive himself.
Get that.
Like the preachers, like the preachers make the church pay for them.
I get. We're gonna talk about that another day.
I bet you will.
No, I'm not. All I want to.
I'm just messing with you. I'm just.
No, when did or did his emotions turn into frustrations and anger and I'm going to use the term malice, but feel free to change that word towards Malcolm X, because the week before he died, he said Malcolm X blew up his own house.
Excuse me?
I'm speaking of Elijah Muhammad. I'm sorry. And I'm not sure if you heard this quote, but when Malcolm X's house was caught on fire, February 14th, Elijah Muhammad said, "Oh, Malcolm X did it himself."
Oh, okay.
So it seemed like there was like some malice there, like even Elijah Muhammad.
Yeah.
Jr.
When Don Elijah Muhammad, to me, my opinion, when he said he did it to himself, what he is saying is the fact that by you going against me, you have people going against you.
Okay, got it.
And he hated the fact it happened to him. He hated the fact that people went after him. He loved Malcolm so much. When they put you out of the mosque, you're only out temporarily for a year. And you can come back after you've repented and you haven't done anything wrong to break the laws.
Right.
Everybody gets that. Muhammad Ali got that. So it's not that he hated him, it's the fact that you have certain people who admires Elijah Muhammad and they went after Malcolm. They said, well, we're going to take care of that on their own. But Elijah Muhammad would never go against Malcolm because he loved him and he hated the fact they went after him. He told his followers in the mosque, and I was there, and he said, don't put your hands, don't you raise your hands against Malcolm X. Not one of you. You stay away from Malcolm. And he said that without his heart, with his whole heart. He just figured he would come back and then join him again. But it didn't happen that way.
Why didn't sanctions be brought upon Louis Farrakhan and or Elijah Muhammad Jr. because he said he wanted to cut his tongue out?
Who?
Elijah Muhammad Jr. He said he wanted to cut his tongue out and send it back to Chicago. Did you hear that quote?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. He said that
Elijah Muhammad Jr. said he would have cut Farrakhan's tongue out?
No, cut Malcolm X's tongue out, the summer of 1964. Oh, you don't know nothing about that?
I didn't hear that one.
Oh, okay. Well, we won't discuss it.
I didn't hear that one.
The last 10 years of Elijah Muhammad's life, his wife dies, his health starts to fail. Capsulate his last 10 years post February 21st, 1965.
Well, I know he was ill. And we couldn't get anything out of him. I didn't hear anything other than my father. Because when he went to the hospital, to Mercy Hospital, he called my father. He said, I want you to stay here. I want you to stay here and protect me because I don't trust certain people in my family.
Who didn't he trust?
He didn't say who.
Oh, okay.
He just said, I just don't trust any of them.
Okay. Because
I don't know who's against me or who's not with me.
Sure. And
my father take a bullet for Elijah Muhammad.
I bet.
Oh, yeah. My father is no nonsense. My father didn't run any groups. Elijah Muhammad say you can stay at your job. When you're off the job, you my first lieutenant. And right before he died, he called my father to come to the hospital to watch over him, to make sure things were given to whatever he had given to my father to give to whoever, it was done. And my father's no nonsense. Wow. He was loyal to the Elijah Muhammad. That's it. But in the end days, it would be a lot of people scared. You're dealing with the empire, a man with the empire.
I bet.
And, all families are alike. They're always going after a lot of stuff, which they deserve. But if he didn't give it to you, you just had to bag off.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I just didn't have any contact when he was sick, because we was never around him when he's sick. But my father was there doing most of that's something you probably would have had to ask my dad, but then he wouldn't have told you anyway. So that's my dad.
Right.
He don't say nothing. He's not a talkative person.
Wow.
He'll look and that's it. And he's done. And you're done. So, right. It was just very sad. And but it's one thing I remember him before he got real sick. He said, there's a son that's going to come and teach you the right way. And I want you to follow that, my son. And open that door to Islam the way it should be. And he said that to everybody at the mosque. It wasn't nothing special. So that means that he was not trying to resurrect or keep the Nation of Islam going. It was a time for that, and it's a time for Islam.
Why do you think they went against Malcolm so hard knowing that, or I shouldn't say that, what the great thing is about Elijah Muhammad, but he went against his own teachings. Why wouldn't
Well,
why
he just made a mistake. He wasn't trying to go against his teachings.
Mhm.
He just said that we do not we're not saying anything against disrespectful against anyone. Sure. But when Malcolm said chicken come home to roost, that was just the wrong thing to say. Elijah Muhammad would never do that. Sure. Praising somebody's death who actually was a people who admired Black people. Sure. The Kennedys admired Black people, and he just made a mistake and said the wrong thing. Got it. He didn't probably do it with malice or anything. He just was going against what white people did, and that's what Elijah Muhammad did. Gotcha. But you don't praise anybody's death. That's just something you don't do. Mm-hmm. And I thought he thought that was a good thing to say, but it wasn't. Gotcha. But he just made a mistake and got put out for 1 to 5, and that means only 1 year, not associating with any. That's like a death sentence to a Muslim, not cooperating or being able to talk to anybody in the nation. That's our life. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of pain will hurt you. Right. And more than likely, you would go ahead and wait for that 1 year is up. But so much happened to Malcolm before that year was out. Right. A lot of stuff with the family and the women and all of that he heard, and people was talking to him, and it broke his heart to see the man wasn't loyal. That just crushed Malcolm because he expected more from him than that. Right. Just like I was shocked too. Wow. You know, so it could shock anybody. Right. But Malcolm was loyal to the T, but he didn't know the true Islam was going to come out, and then he found out that white people can be Muslims, Chinese people can be Muslims. Right. He went to Mecca and saw all that, and it just confused them. I bet it did. But it didn't confuse us, because Elijah Muhammad told us all the time that the religion is for everyone. He constantly said that. And I don't know if he didn't get that part of his speech or not, but see, we were there long enough to understand the difference. Because we know about Mecca, we knew about all the Muslims going to Mecca. We knew that there were Russian Muslims. We knew that there were Irish Muslims. There are Muslims all over the world. Right. And but we knew that, but it hit Malcolm a little harder because he wasn't in that long enough to learn it. He wasn't at the FY class. There you go. And he just didn't know. And he just took it harder. Wow. And by him getting put out, he didn't know that that's what we do all the time. It's no big deal. So it wasn't nothing. And then Malcolm became a great minister. Elijah Muhammad built him up to be a great, loyal minister. He loved the way he talked. And when they saw them doing stuff to Malcolm, he said, "Hey, man, don't you put your hands on Malcolm. I don't allow that." But see, everybody thinks it was because of Elijah Muhammad, and it wasn't. Got it. Elijah Muhammad even said, if anything happened to Malcolm, they're going to blame me. They're going to blame me, and it's going to be the white man doing it. Right. Because they've been wanting to get to him a long time. Right. Believe what I say. And it happened exactly the way he said it was going to happen. Wow. Yeah. So it's just unfortunate that the people who were around Malcolm wasn't the nicest people in the world. These are Muslims who had more hate for him than Elijah Muhammad. And you know, when you're dealing with a group of people, you don't know who is going to come out radical, or people are going to come out just evil. And it happens to anybody. It can happen to anybody. And Malcolm just got the sore end of the stick. Damn. His funeral. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Okay, the funeral. Oh, yeah. I didn't go to the funeral. I saw it on TV.
But he did die.
You know what?
Yes.
Remember you were saying to me,
yes,
flashback, when you were saying about he did it to himself.
Who?
If Malcolm did everything to himself, this is the reason. When he put the Malcolm out, Malcolm said, well, he'll preach on his own. I trust my brother. Elijah Muhammad don't trust nobody. Because what I'm about to tell you, you might not like what I'm going to say to you. So that's why we get searched every time we go into the mosque, because there's some stuff that you ain't going to want to hear. And to prevent anybody getting hurt, we search everybody. Nobody's going to come in there with no guns, not even a fingernail file. So because Elijah Muhammad knows his people, he knows them. And he knows you're going to hear something you don't want to hear. He knows this about our people. Any people. We started searching way before they had planes and them did it. We're way ahead of ourselves. Simply because if you're going to say something dangerous, you don't say it in front of people with carrying guns, right? Or packing. Right. You just don't do that. Stupid. So when Malcolm gets to the Audubon, he said, I trust all my brothers. Anybody can come in, ain't got to search my brother. That's what he means by he put it on himself. He got killed because he did not do what we did. He wasn't done what he was taught.
Right.
Do not bring weapons. Do not speak and somebody have a weapon on them. You do not speak because you're preventing them to do something they get upset about. So Malcolm said, I trust all my brothers. You don't talk big like that. And watch yourself. So we are security conscious. He got shot because they were allowed to come in there and shoot him. If he had not done that and did what we did, search the person before they go mad, he'd be still alive. But they wouldn't be shot in a place of him speaking the religion or speaking at a public place.
Wow.
Now, I do believe the CIA came in there and shot him.
Sure.
There ain't no Muslim go up there and shoot no Malcolm X. No. Now, they were pretending to be Muslim. They were FBI. The minute they got out from under the umbrella of Elijah Muhammad, you're good as dead. Good as dead. As long as you was under that roof, under Elijah Muhammad, you were protected. You'll always be protected. And they don't understand how much protection being up under Elijah Muhammad is. They do not understand being a Muslim, period, has got more protection than you could ever pay for. Right. This is why Malcolm put it on himself. You don't do that and don't be cautious of your surroundings. You don't do that and know that people is evil people out here. We have to stay in control.
Right. Some people say that Elijah Muhammad was under government protection. Do you believe that? Yes or no?
Well, they wasn't under government protection literally. They're under government's protection because the government know we are not going to cause any trouble. We have conducted ourselves without any violence. We have always conducted ourselves as being clean, upstanding, and nonviolent. The white people don't have nothing to fear from us because he tells us outright, we know you the devil, but we will succeed you. They don't understand the power of Allah either. So they weren't paid to respect us or protect us. The government did it because they understand that we're about no nonsense. And we're not going to do anything to overthrow the government. And they know that. They know our laws. They know that stuff more than I do. Right. They'll never hurt Elijah Muhammad or his followers because we are a person that believe in peace. We believe in peace. Yeah, that's it. I don't think they respect us more than you think they respect us. They respect us more than the Muslims of the Middle East, because we are saying we are peaceful people. We don't hurt or destroy property. We do not hurt and destroy children or a human being, because we know that Allah will punish us for that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And my final question is Elijah Muhammad the messenger, or was he just a teacher? Because they say he's like the last apostle, the last messenger, or something like that.
Well, he was a messenger. That's for sure. That's why they called him the messenger Muhammad, because he has a message to deliver, whether it's his own philosophy or part of the book. It's a message that he have to tell the people. And now his son is delivering the message. And now with him going, we have trained imams to deliver the message.
Sure.
Yeah. So he was the messenger, but he wasn't a prophet. He was only a messenger. He was only given a message. And there are many messengers of God, whether Christian, whether Muslim, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, we have Martin Luther King was a messenger. He was a messenger.
Right.
You know, we have a lot of people. Rosa Parks was a messenger.
Right.
We all are messengers in our life to help others and to give homage to each other, because we need messages. We need upliftment. We need knowledge to guide us, to set an example for us.
Right.
We're not perfect, but we do have a message.
Right. Why were the women suspended and Elijah Muhammad wasn't suspended? That always bothered me. If the woman got suspended, how come Elijah Muhammad didn't get suspended?
Because he's the leader. He overrides everything.
I never understood that. Never made sense to me.
He's the king. He's the Trump.
All right.
He's the Trump.
All right.
All right. You trump over the leaders. The leaders make the laws. So if the women is not part of the leader, so if the women, well, they were out, they were doing wrong. They were having babies with him. That's adultery. But he's the leader. He can't do that to him. He's the leader.
Yeah,
that ain't fair, but it's true. But it's what happened.
Yeah, that's why.
Look at the leaders. Look at the leaders that you have today. They go with all kind of women. They don't go to jail for it.
Yeah.
They either pay their way out of it. Like, he was the trump card.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I when they say those are his wives, but they sanction a few of the ones. No, I'm just saying. I know. I don't want to hear that wife stuff. They you know what I said they were. I know. See, that's the game. That's the game that they be playing with them women so they can get what they want. Right.
See, that gives them, oh, I'm your wife, then I gotta have a baby and you're gonna take care of me. That's the game plan to trick them.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine Clara Muhammad, like heartbreak. In my humble opinion, just heartbreak after heartbreak. 13 heartbreaks.
She just said, well, you know what? I don't care what he does.
Damn.
God will take care of him in the next life. She didn't worry about it.
Gotcha. How would you capture?
If I was like 70 years old, married to Ali, and he did that, I wouldn't mind. I just say, I don't care. You think I would say that? Hell no. I would still do it. I would still do what I'm doing now. I ain't gonna put up with that stuff. I ain't gonna make no man of mine disrespect me over and over and over. The hell with you. I got to go. You can't clean up your act. I ain't gave you a chance to clean up your act. You don't want to clean up your act. You're on your own, buddy.
Right.
And you know what? When I left, everything went downhill. Boom.
Right. How would you sum up?
I said, you know what I said to him? Can I tell you a little trick? Can I tell you a little something? I was so angry. I was so angry with Ali. I said, man, look what we have done and what we have done through the lifetime. We struggled. Yeah, and I helped you. And you don't even know how I helped you, and I ain't never been nowhere. I still helped you. And you're going to give all this away to some whores? You know they're going to be trying to get pregnant next. And everything I told him, he said, how you know all this and you never been nowhere? How you know all this? I said, brother, you know what? I'm tired. I said, you know what? I got so angry with, I said, one day you ain't gonna walk, sit, or stand. You're gonna be a vegetable.
Mm.
He thought I put that curse on him. I didn't, but he cursed himself. I can't believe I said that to him. And every time I make a stand, I'm always correct. I just prayed he stopped, but I had to give it up because I knew he wasn't going to stop. Right. So I just couldn't do that. I said, I got enough time in my life that I could, I could remarry. I got time. I'm not going to give you 20 years of me.
Right.
I ain't happy because on my man, on my watch, I'm not going to allow him to do nothing like that. I said, baby, we can't do that. I can't allow my man to just keep disrespecting. Nah, I can't do that.
Right.
I can't be with you. Right. I can't support you anymore. You gotta go.
How would you to wrap this up? How
you want to wrap it up?
How would you we'll come back Thursday. Thursday.
Ooh.
Yeah, Thursday. Yeah. How would you?
I got some juicy stuff for you Thursday.
Okay, yeah. You want to talk about okay, I'll tell you after this. How would you
No, tell me.
No, I was gonna say we could talk about Louis Farrakhan Thursday. Yeah, I know you'll. Yeah,
we'll talk. Whoop me, baby.
Yeah, so we'll talk about.
He gonna whoop me. He gonna whoop me. I just want to say, Mustafa, his son, that be's by his side all the time. I talk to him every day. His wife is feeling a little ill, Karen Farrakhan.
Bless her.
And I pray for her every day. And I talk to Uncle Louis every once in a while. So I'm just telling you beforehand, Uncle Louis, forgive me, but I got to tell the truth. He don't care nothing about me. He got his empire. He don't need me.
How would you encapsulate Elijah Muhammad? How would you, in this interview, how would you encapsulate everything?
Let me tell you something. Besides all the crap and all the negativity and all the insane disrespect, out of the whole thing, I'm going to be honest with you, brother. I forgive him for everything he did to those women because he gave me my life.
I bet.
He gave me a beautiful mother and father with their lives. And my mother is one of the greatest men ever and a great loyal Muslim. My mother's a great loyal Muslim. We didn't like everything that Elijah Muhammad said, especially with the colors and their race, but we loved everything else he said. And everything else he said was true. And everything that he preached was true. And everything that he taught us as women and men to instill protection, to instill the practice of respect, that I'll always give him praise and thankful to Allah for his existence. Because we need that. We need the little things. It's the little things that count, the little soft, good things, the love of his people, the love of the race, the love that God blessed us with, the love of the Black people that's downtrodden that he picked up out of the mud, the love that he gave Malcolm to get him out of jail to become Malcolm X. He's given so much of these great people. The ending went crazy, but Malcolm wouldn't be who he is or who he was without the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I wouldn't be who I am without the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Nobody is perfect in this life. We make our mistakes in this life and we pay for our mistakes in this life. But the good things, always cherish the good things. Good things are this. I just wouldn't want it any other way. I don't regret any of it. If I had to do it all over again, I would, because that's how I had to learn about life, about men. It saved me. It saved me. And it's the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was the greatest star that's shining bright today. And he was the most meek and humble man in the world. He just got a little crazy when he got older, but 9 times out of 10, if I'm gonna give a scale from 1 to 100, I'll give him 95. The other little 5%, that's his personal thing. But I always was cherish and love the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I thank Allah for him. May he lay in paradise. And
some Muslims thinks he's still alive. I was talking to a guy the other day. He said Elijah Muhammad is still alive. That's why I want to ask you. Did you go to the funeral?
If he's alive, it's because of what he has instilled with people that he's alive.
Got that.
He'll never die. And Muhammad Ali is still alive. He'll never die.
Right. Never.
But in reality, he's really gone because my father saw his dead body, all right, being washed and everything. So they were there. So we know he has gone on. Yeah, he's not alive. They say Elvis is alive.
Yeah, well, right.
They keep him on the radio.
Yeah,
he's still alive.
He shows up every Halloween.
Every Halloween. But his teachings, his blessings, his love for his people will always be alive.
Right.
I mean, that is the most beautiful thing. He left a good legacy. He did. He left a good legacy. Even the things he have taught Farrakhan and his life. He's still teaching people business-wise to be business-minded, to be strong. And don't let evil take you away. If you want to learn anything about socialism, anything about business, as far as a people, Farrakhan knows everything about that. So don't get me wrong, but if you want to learn about Islam, you ain't gonna go to Farrakhan. You're gonna go to the closest masjid you can find and talk to an imam. He don't know the religion. He does know the social life, the rights and the wrongs, the causes and effects of our society.
Right.
He knows this. He knows that. He's good at it. He speaks very well. He speaks very well. But what people need is the religion. They need the religion.
Right.
They need the religion of Islam. They need the pure religion of us to pray to Allah for our own sacrifice, for our own, gifts. We need to think on a whole nother level.
Right.
Yeah. But those who are not going to be Muslims and you want to be business-wise, Farrakhan got all the answers. I mean, the guy is good at people. He knows people. He knows the way our mental capacity speaks, but he's not the Muslim to learn about the religion.
Right.
But he is a good person when it comes to social and historic works of our history. Yeah. He's a good man. He's a good man.
Thank you so much.
When is your birthday? When's your birthday?
October 17th. Let me end it and then
okay, you
end
it. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.